Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Johnny here with Trader X. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel today. I hope you guys are all having an absolutely amazing day today. And I just wanted to go ahead and personally thank you guys so much for all the support. Our channel did hit 100 subscribers today, so my brother and I are very excited for that. And we are very, very grateful for each and every single one of you who, do tune on into the channels. And so, yeah, we just wanted to both personally thank you guys so much from the bottom of our hearts. It really means a lot. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get right into today's recap. So what you guys will notice is it was a red day, unfortunately. I was down $23.72 on the NASDAQ inverse ETF, right? Ticker symbol SQQQ, and about another $20 on TQQQ. And so these were all my field orders. What you guys will notice is that I was trading, right, a lot later than normal. So I traded at 9 o'clock rather than 6:30 when market opens. And the reason for that is my cousin had a bat mitzvah. I don't know if any of you are Jewish, but I pretty much had to attend her service. And yeah, we were all very proud of her. But I'm going to go ahead and get right into the recap, right? So what I wanted to talk about today was what I think where I went wrong. And so what we will notice is that right at market open, right? Market open at 6:30, we did see the Nasdaq pull down to middle VWAP, and then ultimately it did bounce, right? And you could have tried a TQQQ play because ultimately the Nasdaq was showing signs of an uptrend pre-market, so it made sense why it could have continued to uptrend, right? Especially after it corrected itself so fast. And we saw this increase in volume from all the buyers buying in right at market open. So right? It wasn't that shocking that this thing did end up running, and it did push up quite a lot, right? So if you were in the in the inverse ETF, or not the inverse ETF, if you were in TQQQ, this would have been almost a 3% push, right? Because for every 1% this thing pushes up, the Nasdaq future, TQQQ will push up triple that. So that is pretty cool about that. So as this thing pushed up, it peaked out, right, to highs of 13,575, and it did get rejected. One thing you did want to maybe do right around these levels is take a look at the bigger time frames, and what they would tell you is that this type of pullback, this aggressive pullback, didn't come out of anywhere, right? Like, it wasn't random or anything like that. What you guys will notice is that the past 10 days, any single time the Nasdaq approached these areas, it would quickly correct itself right back to the SMA. And so it does a very poor job of holding, right? There's a pretty big resistance level right around these areas. So anytime the Nasdaq, right, peaks back up around these areas, it typically has a price correction, right? And as you guys will see, it's happened multiple times now. So it happened once here, it corrected itself again here, got rejected here, got rejected here. And so as this thing did start to trade around these areas, it did make sense why this thing could peak out, right? Doesn't mean it had to, but it did make sense why this thing could peak out and then ultimately pull on back. So that is what we ended up seeing today. Unfortunately, because I wasn't there at market open, I did miss out on all of this really nice movement. And I probably realistically, guys, wouldn't have taken a trade on SQQQ until this move here. So I wouldn't have really gotten into this or this. And the reason for that is, although this thing pulled back, we've seen this happen many times where the Nasdaq will pull back and then continue to run on the day, right? Especially after it had a lots of volume going for it and momentum right at market open. I personally wouldn't have felt too comfortable getting into trade with SQQQ here, right? So I probably wouldn't have gotten in realistically until this trade here. But that trade alone would have been a really nice trade. What you guys will notice is, right, the Nasdaq broke below the middle VWAP, and then it tried to bounce, right, corrected itself back up to the middle VWAP, and then it started to get rejected by the 5-day, 5-minute EMA. So once I saw this, I could have initially gotten in with my 25% position size. As it broke this previous support level, I could have averaged up. And what you guys will notice is this thing ended up falling really aggressively, right? So that could have been a really nice trade on the inverse ETF. Imagine getting into SQQQ just on this play alone. That could have netted you, over 1.5%. And if you were fully averaged up, that would have been, a pretty nice trade. And as this thing fell, it ended up trying to bounce, right? Let me go ahead and zoom in. As it fell, it ended up bouncing, right? Picked right back up to the EMA and got rejected again. You could have tried another play there and made more money, right? So that would have been another good play there. And then as this thing broke above the EMA, I would have started to get more cautious, right? So I probably would have been burned if I got into SQQQ here as this thing bounced. or sorry, over here, this area, I probably would have gotten burned as this thing bounced, right? And if I tried getting into SQQQ thinking it's going to continuously get rejected on the EMA, I would have had to cut losses. But the beauty about that is I would have made a lot more on these last two trades where this little loss wouldn't have really affected my profits. And where I ended up going wrong on the day was I ended up coming to the market right around this time. So it started to get very choppy. Even what you guys will notice on the 5-day, 5-minute, the EMA itself, right? It wasn't even holding above the EMA or below it. It would go break above, break below, break above, break below, break above, break below. And so I had no idea where the direction was going to be headed, right? If we were going to continue to recover on the day from here or if we were going to continue to sell off. And as you guys ultimately see, we did end up selling off. And, I just wasn't too comfortable at these levels already getting in because I felt like there could have been a bounce here like there was. And that's actually how I ended up losing money. So, right almost at market close, right, I got into the SQQQ and this thing ended up breaking above the EMA and I had to cut losses. And that's how, I was down about $44 on the day today, $43, $44. And so I am currently red on the week now about, I would say, $90. So I do have tomorrow left and I am looking forward to hopefully, having a nice green day so I could go ahead and green on the day. So I just got to make sure that you know, um, I put my best practices in place tomorrow, right? I'm more selective. I'm making sure every trade I take there's a margin, right? It's not just to try to, make a little bit of money. And yeah, I'm just gonna lock in profits at smart areas and just do my part in averaging up where it makes sense. But that is ultimately everything I did want to talk about today. As far as where the Nasdaq is big picture, we are very overextended, right? We have been making these higher highs and higher lows. And so I personally wouldn't be surprised if there was some form of correction, but that doesn't mean it has to happen, right? It has been continuously uptrending, so we do have the direction with us. The past 20 years, right? This is how the Nasdaq's been looking. It's been very bullish. So these big corrections aren't that surprising. And we were seeing, the stocks plummet in price. So now we are starting to finally uptrend and break above the EMA. So I am going to start to revisit the idea of averaging up into my Tesla swing position because as you guys know, I only have 2 shares right now. And so, directions looking good and yeah, the market, everything's looking pretty good right now. But as always, we don't want to get too comfortable because we are pretty overextended right now. If we did have some form of correction, it wouldn't be the biggest surprise, and that could possibly bring down some of the tech stock prices with it. But that's ultimately everything I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. If you guys are new to the channel, we do appreciate you guys dropping a like and subscribing. And if you guys have any questions at all, or want me to break down any stocks, go ahead and drop a comment down below and I will personally go ahead and, maybe even make a video on it. I don't see why not. And yeah, thank you guys so much again for all the support. 100 subscribers is huge. We really do hope to, continue and providing you guys with value if you guys do see it in us. And we want to thank you guys again for, just showing support to the channel. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys all ended green today and all enjoy the rest of your day. I will be posting my recap tomorrow. So yeah, I hope to see you guys there. Take care and have a good rest of your day.